Welcome back. And imagine this for a second. You're driving across a dead world. No roads. No cities. No rules. Dust storms swallowing the horizon. Mountains of broken steel. Silence. Then suddenly, the ground starts shaking. Not from an earthquake. Not from thunder. From something much worse. Something massive. Something impossible. And out of the darkness emerges the 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8. A machine so insane, so brutal, and so unbelievably extreme that people are already calling it the end of the world monster only millionaires can own. This is not a truck. This is not an SUV. This is a moving fortress. The THUNDERBONE 8x8 looks like someone took a military beast, mixed it with a luxury hypercar, and unleashed it into a post-apocalyptic movie set. The first thing you notice isn't its size. It's the feeling. It has presence. The kind that makes every vehicle around it suddenly feel small. Weak. Forgettable. 8 gigantic wheels stand beneath its armored body like mechanical legs from some futuristic creature. Massive off-road tires grip the earth with pure aggression. Sharp LED light bars cut through darkness like glowing blades. The body itself looks carved from metal and anger. Every angle feels dangerous. The front fascia doesn't smile at you. It stares. A gigantic grille dominates the face, surrounded by aggressive vents and sculpted armor panels. Carbon fiber details spread across the body. Reinforced wheel arches look like they could survive explosions. Massive skid plates protect the underbody as if Toyota expects owners to drive through war zones. And maybe they do. Because the THUNDERBONE wasn't built for ordinary roads. It was built for places where roads no longer exist. But then comes the biggest shock. You open the door. And suddenly you're not entering a monster truck anymore. You're stepping into luxury. Pure luxury. The cabin feels like a private jet designed for billionaires who got bored of normal supercars. Hand-stitched leather wraps nearly every surface. Soft ambient lighting glows through the cabin like futuristic artwork. Real aluminum, carbon fiber, and premium would create a strange but beautiful contrast between brute force and elegance. The seats look almost unreal. Heated. Ventilated. Massaging. Fully adaptive. They don't just hold you. They embrace you. Massive digital displays stretch across the dashboard. Crystal clear graphics float in front of the driver like holograms from science fiction movies. Every surface responds instantly to touch, voice, and movement. You don't press buttons. You command the THUNDERBONE. Artificial intelligence studies your driving habits, learns your preferences, adjusts suspension settings automatically. Climate control predicts your comfort before you even ask. And then, there are the cameras. Cameras everywhere. 360-degree vision systems. Night vision.
Terrain scanning.
Drone-assisted navigation. Imagine driving through thick fog, complete darkness, or impossible terrain while an AI system maps every obstacle ahead in real time. Insane doesn't even begin to describe it. But all of that is just decoration compared to what's hiding underneath. Because buried inside this mechanical giant sits something truly terrifying. Power. Rumors suggest Toyota could equip the THUNDERBONE with an absurd twin-turbo hybrid V8 monster pushing nearly 900 horsepower. Think about that. 900 horsepower. In an 8-wheel machine. That number alone sounds ridiculous. Press the accelerator. And the world changes. The engine doesn't simply start. It wakes up. A deep mechanical growl shakes the air. Turbos whistle. Electric motors instantly throw massive torque into all 8 wheels. Then suddenly, everything launches. Despite its unbelievable size, this monster moves with shocking violence. 0 to 60 happens far faster than your brain expects. Your body sinks into the seat while the horizon rushes toward you. You forget you're driving something gigantic. Because it moves like something possessed. On highways it feels unstoppable. On mountains it feels fearless. On mud, sand, rocks, snow, and terrain that would destroy ordinary vehicles. It feels at home. This thing doesn't ask permission. It conquers. Advanced adaptive suspension constantly adjusts hundreds of times every second. Massive travel distances allow the THUNDERBONE to glide over obstacles that would leave normal SUVs stranded. Boulders? Nothing. Deep water crossings? Easy. Steep hills? Laughable. The truck simply keeps moving. Like nature itself cannot stop it. But here's where things become truly unbelievable. Toyota reportedly designed special survival-focused features into the Thunderbone. Integrated solar charging systems, emergency water purification units, satellite communication networks, expandable camping modules, hidden storage compartments, portable power systems. Imagine taking this machine deep into places where civilization disappears, and realizing the vehicle itself becomes your home, your shelter, your protection, your escape plan. Suddenly you understand why people are calling it the end of the world machine. Because if the world actually fell apart tomorrow, you'd want to be inside this. But here's the reality. Very few people ever will. Because monsters like this aren't built for ordinary buyers. They're built for people who already own everything. People who want something no one else can have. Collectors, billionaires, extreme adventurers, people who don't just buy vehicles. They buy statements. And the Thunderbone screams louder than almost anything ever built. It says power. It says survival. It says dominance. And maybe that's why this machine feels different. Because hidden underneath all the luxury and technology and horsepower, there is something primitive about it. Something emotional. The Thunderbone taps into a feeling humans have always had. The desire to go further. To explore darker places. To conquer impossible roads. To survive the unknown. Maybe that's why you can't stop looking at it. Maybe that's why your heart starts beating faster every time you imagine driving one. Because deep inside every person, there's still a little part that wants adventure, wants danger, wants something wild. And the 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8 may be the wildest thing Toyota has ever imagined. A machine built for a future nobody can predict. A monster built for places nobody dares to go. And a reminder that sometimes the craziest creations are the ones we never forget. Welcome back, and imagine this for a second. The world has gone silent. Cities are broken. Roads no longer exist. Fuel is rare. Survival is everything. And then, through the dust and smoke, something appears. Massive. Aggressive. Unreal. A machine so wild, so intimidating, that most people were never supposed to get near it. This is the 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8. And once you see what this monster can do, you'll understand why people are already calling it the forbidden apocalypse vehicle. At first glance, your brain struggles to process what you're looking at. Because this doesn't look like a normal truck. It looks like something stolen from a classified military program. Something designed after engineers asked one terrifying question. What if we built the ultimate survival machine and removed every limit? The Thunderbone isn't just big. It's enormous. 8 wheels. 8 massive, terrain-destroying monsters gripping the ground like mechanical claws. A body so wide and muscular it looks capable of crushing fear itself. Every angle screams power. Every line feels dangerous. The front design is absolutely savage. A giant armored grille dominates the face of the machine. Razor-sharp LED light bars cut through darkness like laser beams. Heavy steel protection wraps around the lower body, making it look ready to smash through concrete barriers without hesitation. And then there are the proportions. This thing sits insanely high off the ground. You don't climb into the Thunderbone. You ascend into it. As it rolls forward, people don't simply look at it. They freeze. Because seeing something this extreme on the road feels almost wrong. Like spotting a predator in the middle of a city street. But the real madness begins under the skin. Rumors suggest Toyota engineers pushed far beyond traditional limits for this machine. Hidden beneath the giant armored body could be a brutal twin-turbo hybrid V8 setup producing power figures that sound almost fictional. We are talking over 900 horsepower. Numbers that belong to supercars. Not survival monsters. Not 8-wheel beasts weighing thousands of pounds. The moment you touch the throttle, everything changes. The engine doesn't roar. It detonates. A deep mechanical thunder erupts from underneath, sending vibrations through the entire structure. The ground almost feels alive beneath you. It gets pulled into the monster. Turbos wake up. And suddenly this giant machine launches forward with violence you never expected. Your mind says impossible. Physics says impossible. But the Thunderbone doesn't seem interested in listening. 0 to 60 happens far faster than something this size should ever allow. The acceleration is brutal. The force pushes your body back into the seat like you're being fired from a giant steel cannon. And remember, this isn't happening in a lightweight sports car. This is happening inside an 8-wheeled apocalypse machine. Now here's where things become even crazier. Because speed means nothing without control. Toyota reportedly designed an advanced intelligent terrain system for the Thunderbone. Every wheel constantly analyzes grip levels. Sand, ice, mud, rocks, snow, broken roads, mountains. It doesn't matter. The machine adapts instantly. Imagine driving through terrain where ordinary vehicles give up after 10 seconds. Deep mud swallowing tires. Giant rocks destroying suspension systems. Endless dunes stretching toward the horizon. The Thunderbone just keeps moving. No hesitation. No struggle. Just relentless forward motion. And stepping inside this beast creates an entirely different shock. Because you expect military toughness. You expect cold steel and hard surfaces. Instead, you enter something that feels like a luxury command center from the future. Soft premium leather wraps around every surface. Massive seats feel more like executive lounge chairs than automotive seating. Ambient lighting glows around the cabin like controlled electricity flowing through the walls. And the space. It's unbelievable. Panoramic glass stretches above you, creating an open view of the sky while the outside world looks tiny beneath you. You don't feel like a driver. You feel like a commander. A giant digital display stretches across the dashboard, merging navigation, performance systems, terrain controls, and real-time vehicle diagnostics into one futuristic experience. But Toyota didn't stop there. Artificial intelligence systems reportedly learn your driving style. Cameras surround the entire vehicle with nearly impossible visibility. Advanced sensors scan the environment continuously. Night driving, thermal imaging, extreme weather, adaptive vision systems, obstacle ahead, predictive hazard detection. It's almost like the vehicle sees danger before you do. Then there are survival features that make this machine feel truly insane. Integrated power systems, emergency water storage, air purification technology, advanced communication systems, autonomous drone deployment capabilities. Think about that. A drone launching directly from your vehicle to scout dangerous areas ahead. That doesn't sound like a truck. That sounds like tomorrow. And now picture the driving experience. You're sitting high above the world. The massive hood stretches forward like the deck of a battleship. The engine growls beneath your feet. 8 giant wheels roll over terrain without mercy. People turn. Phones come out. Heads follow. Because vehicles like this don't blend in. They dominate. Every movement feels cinematic. Every acceleration feels dramatic. Even slowing down feels powerful. And despite all its aggression, all its insane capability, all its brute force, there is something strangely beautiful about it. Because machines like this remind us of something. Humans have always wanted to go further, climb higher, move faster, survive longer, break limits. And the Thunderbone feels like the physical form of that idea. It's not practical. It's not normal. It's not designed for everyone. Maybe that's exactly the point. Because some machines aren't created to fit into the world. They're created to redefine it. The 2026 Toyota Thunderbone 8x8 feels like a warning from the future. A glimpse of what happens when engineers stop asking what should be built and start asking what could be built. And if this forbidden monster ever becomes reality, one thing is certain. You won't just drive it. You'll remember the day you saw it for the first time. Welcome back. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that Toyota built something so insane, so overpowered, so outrageous, it almost looks like it escaped from a post-apocalyptic movie set. A machine so massive that roads stop feeling like roads. A vehicle so extreme that even millionaires would stare in silence. This is the 2026 Toyota Thunderbone 8x8, the truck that feels less like transportation and more like the final boss of the automotive world. The first time you see it, your brain almost refuses to process what you're looking at. 8 wheels. Towering ground clearance. A body stretched with pure aggression. It doesn't arrive. It dominates. Because this isn't just another oversized truck. This thing looks like the future had a nightmare. Toyota took everything people thought was impossible and threw it into one terrifying masterpiece. Every angle screams power. Every line screams purpose. The front end looks like it wants to attack the horizon itself. Massive LED-light blades slice through darkness like glowing weapons. The grille is huge, bold, almost intimidating enough to make other vehicles move out of the way without asking. And then your eyes move lower. Gigantic off-road tires. 8 of them. Not 4. 8. It's almost absurd. Almost. Until you realize what they were built for. Mud. Snow. Mountains. Rivers. Broken roads. Places where maps stop existing. Places where normal trucks simply give up and die. The Thunderbone doesn't care. Because this monster was designed as if civilization itself might disappear tomorrow. And suddenly, you understand the name. Thunderbone. Even standing still, it feels alive. Walk around the side and things become even crazier. The body panels are muscular and sharp, sculpted like armor rather than sheet metal. Hidden air channels cut through the sides. Carbon accents wrap around giant wheel arches. Retractable steps slide out like something from a futuristic military machine. And then you reach the rear. The back doesn't look like cargo space. It looks like command headquarters. Integrated utility systems. Expandable storage modules. Heavy-duty towing equipment. Massive adaptive suspension components hiding beneath the frame. This isn't a truck that asks if you're prepared. This truck assumes you're not. But then comes the question everyone wants answered. What's under the hood? And this is where things get absolutely insane. Rumors suggest Toyota created something beyond traditional expectations. A monstrous hybrid twin-turbo V8 setup pushing ridiculous numbers. Some whispers say over 900 horsepower. 900. In a truck this size. Think about that for a second. You're talking about supercar territory inside an 8-wheeled apocalypse machine. The moment you hit the start button. Silence. For one strange second. Then suddenly the engine wakes up. A deep mechanical growl rises from somewhere beneath you. Electric systems hum. Turbos breathe. The entire truck feels like a sleeping beast opening its eyes. You don't hear the Thunderbone. You feel it. Through your chest. Through the seat. Through your bones. And then you press the accelerator. Physics starts negotiating. Because something this enormous should never move like this. But somehow it does. The acceleration is violent. Massive torque slams into the wheels instantly. The truck lunges forward with shocking force, and your body sinks back into the seat. 0 to 60? Fast enough to make passengers question reality. Fast enough to make sports cars nervous. And the craziest part? It's doing all of this while weighing what feels like a small building. But power means nothing if control disappears. Toyota knew that. So they packed the Thunderbone with technology that feels almost unfair. Independent adaptive suspension constantly reads the terrain beneath every wheel. Advanced torque systems distribute power exactly where it's needed. AI-assisted terrain prediction analyzes surfaces before you even reach them. Before mud becomes a problem. The truck already knows. Before a steep hill becomes dangerous. The truck already adjusted. It's almost creepy. Like the vehicle is thinking ahead of you. But step inside. And suddenly everything changes. Because outside, the Thunderbone is chaos. Inside, it's luxury. Pure luxury. Open the door and the cabin glows like something from a high-end private jet. Soft ambient lighting flows through premium materials everywhere you look. Hand-stitched leather covers nearly every surface. Brushed metal accents stretch across the dashboard. Massive panoramic glass above transforms the ceiling into an endless sky. The seats don't feel like seats. They feel like command chairs. Heating. Cooling. Massage systems. Full body support. Sit down and suddenly the outside world feels very far away. Directly in front of you, giant curved digital displays wrap around the cockpit. Navigation systems blend with real-world augmented reality projections. Cameras eliminate blind spots entirely. Information appears exactly where your eyes need it. No distraction. No clutter. Just pure futuristic control. And passengers? They're getting treated like royalty. Rear entertainment displays. Personalized climate systems. Wireless charging everywhere. Premium sound technology powerful enough to make every song feel like a live concert. Long drives stop feeling long. They become experiences. But here's where things become emotional. Because vehicles like this aren't built for ordinary people. They are built for dreamers. For people who grew up staring at impossible machines on posters. For people who imagined driving beyond the edge of civilization. For people who wanted something bigger than transportation. Something unforgettable. The Thunderbone feels like freedom turned into metal. Imagine climbing mountain trails nobody else can reach. Imagine crossing frozen landscapes without hesitation. Imagine looking down at every other vehicle on the road and realizing you've entered an entirely different category. You're not driving anymore. You're commanding. And maybe that's what makes this machine so fascinating. Because deep down, everyone wants to feel unstoppable. Everyone wants to feel like limitations disappeared. The 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8 doesn't just sell performance. It sells a feeling that nothing can stand in your way. And if this machine ever becomes reality, one thing is certain. The world won't just watch it arrive. The world will hear it coming long before it gets there. Welcome back. Imagine a machine so aggressive, so overbuilt, so terrifyingly powerful, that even military engineers stopped calling it a truck. They called it a moving fortress. And today, you're looking at the impossible. The 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8. A vehicle that looks less like transportation, and more like the final boss of the apocalypse. The first time you see it, your brain struggles to process the scale. This thing is enormous. 8 massive wheels. A body carved from sharp armored lines.
Touring suspension.
Brutal stance. It doesn't arrive on the road, it dominates it. Every inch screams power. Every angle looks dangerous. And somehow, Toyota actually built it. At the front, the Thunderbone looks like a mechanized beast ready for war. The grille is gigantic, surrounded by razor-thin LED light bars that glow like the eyes of a predator hunting at night. The hood sits absurdly high off the ground, with armored vents and reinforced steel plating stretching across the body. It's not just designed to survive harsh terrain. It's designed to crush it. And then you notice the wheels. 8 of them. Massive all-terrain military-grade tires wrapped around beadlock rims built to survive explosions, rock fields, deep mud, and desert warfare. The suspension travel is unbelievable. Each wheel moves independently, keeping the Thunderbone stable even when the ground beneath it completely disappears. This isn't a normal off-roader. This is something far beyond that. Toyota reportedly developed the Thunderbone as an experimental extreme terrain platform inspired by military rescue vehicles and futuristic combat transports. And honestly, it looks like something stolen straight out of a science fiction movie. But the real shock comes when you hear it start. Underneath the armored shell sits a monstrous twin turbocharged V8 hybrid diesel engine pushing insane levels of torque. Rumors suggest over 1,200 horsepower combined with enough pulling force to drag tanks through mountains. The sound alone is enough to send chills down your spine. It growls deep, heavy, violent, like thunder trapped inside metal. And somehow, despite weighing as much as a small building, this monster moves fast.
Shockingly fast.
The moment the Thunderbone launches forward, the earth almost seems to shake beneath it. Dirt explodes behind the tires. Rocks scatter in every direction. The acceleration feels unnatural for something this size. 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds. In an 8-wheel military Titan. That shouldn't even be possible. But Toyota engineers apparently didn't care about limits anymore. They wanted domination. And the craziest part? The Thunderbone can go almost anywhere on Earth. Snowstorms, deserts, swamps, mountain cliffs, flooded roads, frozen rivers. Nothing stops it. The advanced AI-driven terrain management system constantly adjusts power distribution between all 8 wheels in real time. If one side loses grip, the other side instantly compensates. The truck almost feels alive, thinking ahead before the driver even reacts. Watching it climb vertical rock formations is surreal. It crawls upward slowly, methodically, like a giant mechanical spider refusing to surrender to gravity. Other trucks struggle. The Thunderbone simply keeps going. And yet, inside this brutal machine, things become strangely luxurious. The cabin feels like a futuristic military command center mixed with a private jet. Soft ambient lighting glows across the dashboard. Massive digital displays stretch from door to door. Real carbon fiber. Military aluminum accents. Premium leather seats with heating, cooling, and massage functions. It's intimidating, but beautiful. Toyota somehow managed to turn a war machine into luxury. The cockpit is packed with insane technology. A holographic heads-up display projects terrain data directly onto the windshield. Satellite mapping scans the environment in real time. Thermal night vision cameras allow the driver to see through darkness, smoke, and extreme weather. There's even a drone deployment system integrated into the roof for scouting dangerous terrain ahead. Yes, a drone system. Because apparently regular mirrors were no longer enough. And if things become truly dangerous, the Thunderbone transforms into survival mode. Reinforced armor panels protect critical components underneath. Run-flat tires keep moving even after severe damage. Emergency oxygen systems activate automatically if air quality drops. Solar-assisted battery systems provide backup power for days in remote locations. This thing wasn't built for convenience. It was built for survival. And visually, it's absolutely terrifying on the road. Everything around it suddenly looks small. Pickup trucks feel tiny beside it. SUVs disappear in its shadow. The Thunderbone sits so high that drivers in normal vehicles barely reach its window line. At night, those glowing LED signatures cut through darkness like a futuristic tank rolling through a battlefield. People don't just stare at it. They freeze. Because machines like this are rare. Machines like this feel impossible. But perhaps the most insane feature of all is the adaptive transformation system. Depending on terrain conditions, the Thunderbone can raise or lower its suspension dramatically. In highway mode, it lowers itself for stability and speed. In extreme off-road mode, it lifts into an almost unbelievable towering stance with monstrous ground clearance capable of clearing giant obstacles without hesitation. It's like watching a mechanical creature evolve in real time. And despite all this brutality, driving it reportedly feels shockingly smooth. The advanced air suspension absorbs impacts so well that passengers barely feel massive bumps underneath. Meanwhile, intelligent sound insulation creates eerie silence inside the cabin while chaos unfolds outside. Imagine crossing a violent desert storm, while sitting in climate-controlled luxury listening to crystal-clear surround sound audio. That's the Thunderbone experience. Absolute chaos outside. Absolute control inside. Toyota also equipped the vehicle with autonomous convoy technology, allowing multiple Thunderbone units to travel together using synchronized AI communication. In dangerous environments, the vehicles literally talk to each other, sharing terrain information instantly to optimize movement and avoid hazards. That sounds less like automotive engineering, and more like military science fiction becoming reality. Even fuel efficiency gets a futuristic twist thanks to the hybrid system. Despite its monstrous power, the electric torque assistance improves efficiency during long-distance operations while delivering instant acceleration when needed. Silent electric crawling mode even allows near-silent movement through certain environments. Imagine hearing nothing, then suddenly seeing this giant armored beast emerge from the darkness. Terrifying. And let's talk about presence. Because no camera truly captures how intimidating this machine feels in motion. Every movement looks heavy, purposeful, dominant. The suspension flexes like living muscle. The engine roars with authority. Dust clouds explode behind it like battlefield smoke. This isn't just a vehicle. It's a statement. A warning. A glimpse into a future where extreme machines are no longer designed just for roads, but for surviving the harshest conditions imaginable. And honestly, the craziest part is that people would absolutely buy it. Collectors, adventurers, billionaires, military contractors, apocalypse dreamers. Everyone wants to know the same thing. How far can this thing actually go? Because the Thunderbone doesn't feel limited by civilization. It feels built to escape it completely. To cross continents. To survive disasters. To conquer terrain humanity once considered impossible. And maybe that's why the internet exploded the moment this machine appeared. Because deep down, people are tired of boring vehicles that all look the same. They want something outrageous again. Something emotional. Something unforgettable. The 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8 is exactly that. It's excessive. Ridiculous. Completely over the top. And that's precisely why the world can't stop talking about it. Because once you see it, you don't forget it. This isn't just the future of off-road vehicles. This is the future of mechanical dominance itself. Welcome back, because what you're about to see feels less like a vehicle and more like a warning from the future. Imagine driving across a dead planet. No roads, no rules, no civilization for hundreds of miles. Now imagine one machine standing there in the dust, waiting. Massive, silent, unbelievable. The 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8 exists, and it looks like something pulled straight out of the end of the world. The first time you see it, your brain almost refuses to process it. Because this thing doesn't look normal. It doesn't even look real. Toyota has created tough machines before. Legendary machines. Machines that earned respect in deserts, mountains, jungles, and battlefields. But the THUNDERBONE? This is different. This is pure mechanical intimidation. The body sits absurdly high above the ground. 8 gigantic wheels stretch beneath a monster frame that looks like it could drive over abandoned cars without even noticing. Every angle feels aggressive. Every line feels sharp. Every inch looks built for survival. You don't approach it. You stare at it. The front end is terrifying. A brutal grille design dominates the face, surrounded by futuristic LED light bars that look like glowing eyes scanning the darkness. The hood rises high like the chest of some giant armored beast preparing for impact. And then your eyes move toward the sides. The proportions are insane. Long, wide, heavy, like a military vehicle mixed with a luxury expedition machine from another dimension. Massive fender flares swallow those gigantic tires. Reinforced armor panels wrap around the body. Hidden storage compartments sit along the sides. Roof-mounted gear systems suggest this thing was built to disappear into the wilderness for weeks, maybe months. And suddenly you start asking yourself one question. Why would anyone need something like this? Then you imagine crossing frozen mountains, flooded roads, destroyed cities, miles of empty desert. Now it starts making sense. Because the THUNDERBONE wasn't designed for easy places. It was designed for places where normal vehicles simply give up. But then comes the heart of the beast. And this is where things get ridiculous. Rumors suggest Toyota could arm this machine with an advanced twin-turbo hybrid power system producing numbers that sound almost unreal. Imagine a thunderous V8 Soul working alongside electric power to unleash brutal torque instantly. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. Immediately. The moment your foot touches the accelerator. Because torque matters when you're carrying a machine this massive. And torque is exactly where monsters come alive. You press the pedal. The nose lifts. The earth shakes. And suddenly 8 wheels begin clawing at the ground like a mechanical animal escaping captivity. You expect something this enormous to feel slow, heavy, awkward. But then reality punches you in the face. Because despite its size, the THUNDERBONE moves with shocking aggression. Zero hesitation. Zero mercy. Just endless force. And imagine hearing it. That deep growl from the engine blending with futuristic electric sounds creates something almost cinematic. It sounds less like transportation and more like approaching danger. Every acceleration feels dramatic. Every movement feels powerful. And speed. That's where things become truly absurd. Because people see giant machines and assume they crawl. But technology changes everything. Picture a vehicle this size launching toward highway speeds with frightening confidence. You feel your body press into the seat while the landscape begins disappearing behind you. Not because you're driving fast. Because you're commanding something unstoppable. But power alone means nothing if the inside feels empty. And Toyota knows that. Open the doors and suddenly the apocalypse disappears. Because inside the THUNDERBONE, luxury takes over. Soft premium materials wrap nearly every surface. Massive digital displays stretch across the dashboard like something from a futuristic command center. Ambient lighting glows around the cabin, creating an atmosphere that feels calm despite the chaos outside. The seats look incredible. Large. Supportive. Almost throne-like. Imagine heated seats. Ventilated seats. Massaging seats. Maybe even reclining captain chairs in the rear. Because if you're crossing continents, comfort suddenly matters a lot. But then you notice something even cooler. The cabin doesn't feel like a truck. It feels like a mobile headquarters. Multiple display systems monitor terrain conditions. Cameras surround the entire vehicle. Advanced navigation systems map locations far beyond normal roads. Weather tracking. Satellite communication. Off-road intelligence. Everything working together. Everything helping you survive. And the technology keeps going. Imagine AI-assisted driving systems scanning the environment ahead. Cameras identifying hazards before you even notice them. Intelligent suspension adjusting itself instantly as terrain changes beneath the wheels. Rock. Mud. Snow. Sand. Nothing feels impossible anymore. Because the Thunderbone doesn't react to terrain. It dominates it. Now imagine night falling. You're alone. No cities.
No lights.
Nothing but darkness. Most vehicles become nervous in situations like that. But not this thing. Massive LED systems cut through the night like daylight. Thermal cameras help reveal hidden obstacles. Advanced sensors constantly watch your surroundings. And suddenly that fear disappears. You feel safe. Powerful. Untouchable. That's when you realize something important. The Thunderbone isn't just transportation. It's confidence. It's freedom. It's knowing you can keep moving when everything else stops. And maybe that's why this machine feels so fascinating. Because deep down, everyone wants to believe they're prepared for anything. Everyone wants to imagine escaping the chaos. Everyone wants to imagine driving toward the unknown without fear. And then Toyota arrives with this unbelievable machine and says, "Here, take the keys. Go wherever the world ends." Whether the 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 8x8 becomes reality exactly as imagined almost doesn't matter anymore. Because some vehicles exist to save fuel. Some exist to carry groceries. But machines like this exist for a different reason. They exist to make people dream. To make hearts race. To remind us that sometimes the craziest ideas create the most unforgettable legends. And if the Thunderbone truly arrives exactly like this, the apocalypse might actually look pretty exciting.